Awaken the abyss, I feel it rise. The rhythm is light, no need for eyes. Awaken the abyss, no need to try. Let it flow, let it fly.
All right, welcome back to Mindshift, Consciousness as Fundamental. I'm Mark Davidson, and as always, I'm joined by Dr. Freja van der Berg and James Cartwright. Today, we're diving into chapters 21 through 30 of Dr. Decker's first manuscript, Consciousness as Fundamental. And I want to kick us off with something that really reframes how we think about health and illness. Dr. Decker suggests that healing isn't just about fixing a broken part, but about restoring coherence in the fields that connect us, our relationships, our communities, even our environments. It's a shift from the old body as machine model to something much more relational.
Yes, and it's fascinating how this echoes both ancient and modern perspectives. The Egyptians, for example, saw healing as restoring harmony with Heka, the creative force that pervades reality. And now we see similar ideas in quantum biology. Think of microtubules in cells, or the way immune responses can be non-local, almost as if the body is tuning into a larger field. Even the placebo effect, which we often dismiss as just psychological, might actually be a field phenomenon, where belief and expectation shift the coherence of the system.
That's brilliant, Freya. And I've got a personal story that really brought this home for me. Years ago, I was in a bit of a creative rut, and a friend dragged me to a drumming circle. I was sceptical, but after a few sessions, I felt this surge of energy and clarity. It wasn't just a rhythm, it was the sense of being in sync with others, like we were generating a shared field that made healing and creativity possible. I bounced back faster than I ever had before. It's that group coherence, isn't it?
Exactly, James. And there's research now, like the HeartMath studies, showing that when people synchronize their heart rhythms, it creates measurable changes in the group's field. So healing isn't just about the individual, but about the relationships and the fields we participate in. It's a radical shift, but it makes sense when you look at both the ancient and the quantum perspectives.
So if healing is about field coherence, what does that mean for society? Decker suggests we can actually map out local coherence practices, like drumming circles, meditation groups, even storytelling traditions, and use them to foster collective intelligence. Imagine a community initiative where people share their coherence practices, learn from each other, and support one another in real time.
And it's not just about mapping, but about experimenting. For example, combining indigenous storytelling with modern biofeedback devices, measuring heart rate variability or brainwave coherence while people share stories. It's a way to see, quite literally, how narrative and physiology interact to create group coherence. And if you bring educational institutions into the mix, you can embed these practices into curricula, making coherence a lived cultural experience rather than an abstract concept.
That's a great point, Freya. It's about partnerships between communities, schools, and even tech developers. If we can design experiments that blend traditional wisdom with modern tools, we can actually see how collective field intelligence emerges. It's not just theory, it's something we can practice and measure.
Let's bring this down to the everyday. Dr. Decker talks about field check-ins, brief moments before meetings or conversations where people tune into their energetic state and set an intention for coherence. It sounds simple, but it can shift the whole dynamic of a group. And if you add shared storytelling or visualization, you reinforce that collective coherence.
I've actually tried this in my own work. Before a big meeting, I'll pause, take a breath, and just notice the energy in the room. Sometimes I'll suggest a quick visualization or even a bit of humour to get everyone on the same wavelength. It's subtle, but you can feel the difference. People are more open, more creative, less defensive.
And organizations are starting to use biofeedback tools during collaborative tasks, measuring group coherence in real time. It's a way to make the invisible visible and to improve relational synergy. It's not about being perfect, but about being aware of the field you're creating together. So how do we scale this up? Dr. Decker suggests developing training modules for educators and leaders that incorporate field coherence principles, things like synchronized breathing, storytelling, and regular narrative sharing. The idea is to foster a coherent institutional culture, not just a collection of individuals.
And with technology, you can go even further. Imagine pilot programs that use biofeedback and virtual reality to monitor and enhance team coherence during meetings. You could have regular assessments and narrative sessions to adapt and deepen these practices over time. It's about continuous feedback and evolution, not a one-off intervention.
It's a bit like tuning an orchestra, isn't it? You need regular check-ins, feedback, and a willingness to adjust. And when it works, the whole institution becomes more resilient, creative, and healthy. Education is a big one. Decker talks about designing modules that combine indigenous storytelling, scientific visualization, and biofeedback to teach students about field coherence from an early age. It's about making relational awareness a core part of learning, not just an add-on.
And in the community, you can run workshops that blend movement, shared rituals, and digital biofeedback tools. The key is cultural sensitivity, making sure these practices honor local traditions while introducing new ways to foster resilience and collective coherence. Organizations can implement regular check-ins using simple awareness techniques and biofeedback devices to improve team dynamics and health.
It's about creating a culture where coherence is valued and practiced, not just talked about. And the research suggests that these practices can have real, measurable effects on both individual and collective well-being. Let's zoom out to the societal level. Dr. Decker proposes pilot programs that combine indigenous storytelling, biofeedback, and collective movement to foster societal coherence and resilience. It's about embedding field awareness into daily routines through synchronized breathing, storytelling, even virtual reality simulations.
And documenting these case studies is crucial. If we can create a digital platform where communities share what works, we can facilitate ongoing learning and develop scalable models for transformation. It's about building a living library of coherence practices that anyone can access and adapt.
It's a bit like open source software, but for social coherence. The more we share and learn from each other, the more resilient and adaptive our societies become. Building on that, Dr. Decker suggests community-based pilot projects that integrate indigenous storytelling with biofeedback technologies to demonstrate the impact of cultural narratives on collective coherence. Workshops for leaders and educators can focus on synchronized movement and shared rituals to cultivate institutional coherence.
And again, a digital platform for documenting and analyzing these practices can foster a global community dedicated to responsible consciousness integration. It's about creating a feedback loop. Practice, document, share, refine.
It's ambitious, but it's also practical. We already have the tools and the wisdom. We just need to bring them together in new ways. So what does it look like to implement this at scale? Decker talks about community-wide initiatives that combine storytelling, biofeedback, and movement to foster societal coherence. The key is setting measurable goals and engaging the community at every step.
And training programs for educators and leaders are essential. By incorporating field coherence principles like synchronized breathing, storytelling, and virtual reality simulations, you can embed these practices into the fabric of society. And again, a digital platform for sharing case studies encourages global collaboration and continuous learning.
It's about creating a culture of coherence where everyone has a role to play and the tools to participate. It's not top-down, it's emergent, adaptive, and inclusive. Now, as we start to use technologies that can influence consciousness fields, ethics becomes crucial. Dr. Decker suggests forming multidisciplinary committees, ethicists, indigenous leaders, scientists, technologists, to draft guidelines that prioritize cultural sensitivity, informed consent, and relational boundaries.
And it's not just about drafting documents. Community-based protocols should encourage transparent dialogue about the use and impact of coherence technologies, ensuring that local voices and traditional knowledge are integral to decision-making. Pilot projects can test these frameworks in real-world settings, collecting feedback and refining practices to promote responsible and equitable integration.
It's about building trust and accountability, not just compliance. If we want these technologies to serve everyone, we need to make sure everyone has a say in how they're used. Culture is the glue that holds all of this together. Dr. Decker talks about comprehensive training programs that combine Indigenous storytelling with scientific techniques to teach community members about field coherence and relational awareness.
And creating culturally sensitive tools like immersive storytelling environments or resonance chambers can deepen understanding and practice of coherence within diverse contexts. Partnerships with local leaders and educators are key to embedding these practices into community events and curricula, fostering sustainable resilience and collective evolution.
It's about honoring tradition while embracing innovation. The goal is to create practices that are both rooted and adaptive, capable of evolving as our understanding grows. Technology can be a powerful ally here. Dr. Decker suggests designing mobile apps that guide users through daily coherence practices, integrating storytelling, scientific visualization, and biofeedback prompts. Community workshops can train people to use wearable biofeedback devices and virtual reality experiences to enhance empathy and relational awareness.
And partnerships with Indigenous communities and technologists can co-create virtual environments that simulate interconnected field spaces, enabling safe and immersive practice of collective coherence. It's about using technology to amplify, not replace, our innate relational capacities.
And the more we can make these tools accessible and culturally respectful, the more likely they are to be adopted and sustained over time. To wrap up, Dr. Decker envisions community-led initiatives that integrate coherence exercises into local education and organizational routines, regular workshops, shared rituals, and digital tools that facilitate daily practice and real-time feedback on energetic alignment.
And pilot programs within institutions can use virtual reality and biofeedback technologies to monitor and enhance group coherence, with the goal of fostering resilient and empathetic societal networks. It's about building the infrastructure for a more coherent, connected society, one practice, one relationship at a time.
That's a beautiful vision, Mark. And it's not just theory, it's something we can all participate in, right now. Whether it's a field check-in before a meeting, a community storytelling session, or a moment of shared intention, every act of coherence ripples out into the larger field.
Absolutely, and that's where we'll leave it for today. Thanks, Freya and James, for another rich conversation, and thanks to all of you for listening and participating in this ongoing exploration. We'll be back soon to dive even deeper into the spaces between. Until then, take care of your fields and each other.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, James. Always a pleasure. And to our listeners, keep questioning, keep connecting, and keep practicing coherence in your daily lives.
Cheers, both of you. And to everyone out there, remember, the field is always open. See you next time.
Awaken the abyss, I feel it rise. The rhythm is light, no need for eyes. Awaken the abyss, no need to try. Let it flow, let it fly.